Hello there. We're happy you could join us for another enlightening edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. It was Martin Luther King Jr. who said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." This World Day for International Justice is part of an effort to highlight how justice tribunals and courts have brought and continue to bring justice for the victims of crimes. We have a show that is guaranteed to lift your spirits, so don't move a muscle. We'll be right back.
Good day, I'm Lisa Rowe and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, July 17, 2024. $500 million has been allocated to undertake a national cleanup program following the passage of Hurricane Beryl earlier this month. This will be carried out by the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, over a one-month period. The NSWMA will also work alongside the National Works Agency, NWA, which has been allocated $800 million for the same project. In a statement to Parliament on Tuesday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said an extensive removal of bulky and residential waste would be done by both entities. They will also focus on the cleanup of thoroughfares and urban centres and the removal of overgrown vegetation and fallen trees.
With the Emancipation and Independence holidays approaching, it is also a perfect opportunity for Jamaicans to become involved in this initiative by participating in the cleanup and beautification efforts. It is our intention to utilize the labor of community personnel, aided by the use of small tools and heavy equipment where necessary.
Mr. Holness says while there is no allocation in this program for constituencies specifically, members of Parliament and councillors can make recommendations for consideration. He says the NWA and the NSWMA will have the latitude to fast-track recovery efforts in areas that have been most affected.
Many communities have taken it onto themselves to debush, to cut trees, but they're not carting away the debris, and it is piling up in the community. So the NSWMA and the NWA will have that latitude. They will have to work together because the NWA will generate debris and the NSWMA must move it.
Continuing the update on the recovery process, the Prime Minister has also announced that the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, has sought help within the Caribbean to fast-track restoration efforts. This is from the Caribbean Electrical Utility Services Corporation, CARELEC.
We should be getting line workers from countries such as Belize and Cayman who will help JPS to address the outage pockets that exist within the island.
And earlier today, Minister with Responsibility for Energy, Darrell Vaz, disclosed that the number of countries had increased.
I can confirm that Belize and Suriname have agreed to send persons, and also Trinidad and Guyana. I had a conversation this morning with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, for which I asked her to please reach out to all of our brother and sister countries to see what assistance can be given in the shortest possible time.
In addition, the JPS has supplemented its resource pool with former employees, as well as engaging local contractors from the bauxite industry, who are assigned to Hanover and St. Elizabeth. In the meantime, the Prime Minister reports that power has been restored to approximately 655,000 customers, which represents 94.6% of JPS's customer base island-wide. Electricity has also been restored to all major hospitals and to approximately 81% of critical NWC sites. For areas of St. Elizabeth that were affected, restoration is now at approximately 49%. Full restoration for Manchester is projected by the end of this week and by the end of July for Clarendon.
The JPS has indicated that they are targeting the week ending August 10th for full restoration island-wide.
On to agriculture and fisheries, $700 million has been allocated to provide various short-term assistance to purchase critical items that are needed by farmers. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green gave an outline of the distribution in Parliament.
The allocation includes $210 million, which will focus on crop recovery. We will allocate $90 million to our vegetable lines, $40 million towards our banana and plantain farmers, and $80 million towards other crops, especially yam and our coffee farmers.
A further breakdown sees $60 million assisting livestock producers and $26 million to rebuild livestock infrastructure. Funds will also be distributed to the fisheries sectors for the purchase of fertilizers, repairs to greenhouse infrastructure, irrigation equipment, land preparation, and farm roads. $150 million will be divided among members of Parliament based on the extent of damage in their constituencies.
The allocations will have to be utilized over the next 4 weeks and will go through a verification process to ensure that the persons have in fact suffered damage through Hurricane Beryl.
The distribution of the funds will be managed through the Rural Agricultural Development Agency, the National Irrigation Commission, Agro Investment Corporation, and the Jamaica Agricultural Society. Persons can report damage or seek assistance through the Ministry's customer service hotline at 888-ASK-RADA. That's 888-275-7232. Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett has announced that a new team, dubbed the Jamaica Tourism Supplies Logistics Hub, has been created to help build unprecedented opportunities for local businesses. Closing the sectoral debate in Parliament yesterday, Minister Bartlett said the move represented a strategic recognition of Jamaica's potential to serve as a key supply logistics hub for the Caribbean cruise industry.
The logistics hub is not just about procuring goods. It's not about bringing in goods from elsewhere that we may not have, to package them here, to label them here, and then to transfer them to other destinations. But it's also about building human capital. It's about training a new cadre of skilled Jamaicans to participate in various areas, not just of tourism management and organization, but of course industrial management and organization.
The tourism minister adds that several major cruise lines, including Carnival, Royal Caribbean, MSC, and Norwegian, have expressed keen interest in sourcing more of their global product needs from Jamaica.
This is excellent news for our farmers, our manufacturers, our artisans, and other small and medium-sized enterprises. It opens up a vast new market for our local products, potentially transforming our economic landscape.
The Jamaica Tourism Supplies Logistics Hub will be chaired by Dr. Kerry Wallace, Executive Director of the Tourism Enhancement Fund. He will be guided by Wilfred Bagaloo of the PricewaterhouseCoopers. And finally, more Jamaicans are set to benefit from free healthcare services, including consultations, testing, and screening within their communities. This will be done through a partnership with the Jamaica Aid Support for Life under the One Life, One Health project that was launched recently in St. Anne. The free health services will be delivered via 2 mobile units staffed with healthcare specialists, including a doctor, nurse, and phlebotomist who will visit communities across the island. The initiative is supported by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID's Meeting Targets and Maintaining Epidemic Control project. Both stakeholders have agreed that the project is a comprehensive and inclusive approach to healthcare that will enhance public health resilience and the ability to respond to emerging health threats.
Our mobile clinics will bring much needed health services directly to these communities. We will train NGO workers who are crucial in bridging the gap between the healthcare system and the people that we wanted to serve.
This initiative will help to build strong and resilient health systems that are prepared to respond to current and emerging health threats faced by Jamaicans.
Persons are being encouraged to take advantage of health information, wellness workshops, and free screenings that will be provided. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lisa Rowe. Thanks for watching.
If you now want pop down and fenke, you fi burn mosquito and run with dengue. So now make water cycle in open container. For them we read up under the danger. Usher them out, run them away. Zap them with the zapper and down them with spray. Use mosquito net and mosquito screen. Protect your household, now make them come in. If you know want pop down and fenke, if you burn mosquito and run with dengue. If pain lick your head and your joints and your eye, and you want fever meat and your temperature high, it could be dengue, don't hesitate. See a doctor, don't self-medicate. For some painkiller can make you bleed and you will try to recover and no succeed. We no want pop down and fenke, with the burn mosquito and run with dengue.
A message from the Ministry of Health.
The Ministry of Justice has been clearing the backlog of court cases among a host of other things. Stick around to find out more of their plans in the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
Government is steadfast in its pursuit of a world-class justice system dedicated to providing justice and transforming lives. Key initiatives such as enhancing court infrastructure and tackling case backlogs are at the forefront of the Ministry of Justice's efforts.
The parish courts are now effectively backlog-free. This is a major achievement. The statistics show that less than 2.5% of the cases are in backlog, which means these cases have not been tried in 24 months. To put it differently, approximately 98% of cases are completed within 24 months. Close to 90% of all the cases are tried and completed within 12 months. The likelihood is that before long, 100% of cases will be tried and completed within 18 months in the parish courts. Indeed, going forward, the parish court's mission is to complete simple cases within 3 months, standard cases within 6 months, complex cases within 12 months, and all cases within 18 months. When achieved, and it will be soon, Jamaica's court system will rank amongst the best.
The recent cabinet approval for an increased stipend for jurors is testament to the commitment to enhance the judicial process.
Each juror whose name is called for any circuit will be paid $2,000 for each day that juror attends circuit, or $2,000. Jurors who are impaneled and who serve on a case will now get $6,000 instead of the present $2,000, a 200% increase.
The relentless drive to improve court resources and infrastructure continues to underpin the ministry's vision for a robust justice system.
Shortly, we will be putting in solar panels. We have started at the Sun Street and the halfway tree courts, and we hope to put solar panels in most of the courts across Jamaica. This, Madam Speaker, will ensure that we move towards the greener environment. One new court we hope that will be opened this year, and that is the St. Thomas in Morant Bay. The urban center is being developed, and that new court will be hopefully opened in this fiscal year. In addition to the over $300 million that we'll be spending to improve all the other courts.
Amidst Jamaica's remarkable economic growth, the Justice Ministry remains focused on settling judgment debts for completed cases, ensuring timely justice.
2023, the government provided us with $750 million to pay judgment debt. We paid out $530 million for all infractions and returned $220 million back to the government. We want to make sure that when people sue the government for whatever infractions, that they get their money. And under this administration, we have done it for the last 8 years.
And for this fiscal year,
the Ministry of Finance, the government, has provided us with $680 million this year.
The Legal Aid Council tirelessly pursues its mission to provide free quality legal support and effective representation for those who need it. To ensure the service is reaching more citizens, the Council is providing Jamaican Sign Language training for its lawyers. In the 2024-2025 financial year, the ministry also plans to expand duty council services and boost case resolution rates across the parish, gun and circuit courts, as well as the Court of Appeal. It will also continue addressing the justice needs of persons with disabilities. The Justice Ministry is proposing the use of mediation to deal with estate matters at the Administrator General's Department AGD. The department currently has over 5,000 active estates and more than 900 enquiry cases in administration, including 338 matters from 2023-24. Over the past 5 years, the AGD has taken on an average 360 new cases per year and average 420 closed during the relevant period.
Where we have a problem really right now is to get the beneficiaries to come together and agree how the thing should be apportioned. What I'm planning to do is to get a mediation department in the Administrator General's department to deal with all these beneficiaries who curse one another as to what portion they should get, even though the law is there to tell them what portion they are to get.
Efforts are underway to update the Restorative Justice Act to keep it effective and relevant.
In 2023-24, I tabled a copy of the Restorative Justice Policy Green Paper. The policy's revision is geared towards improving the implementation of the National Restorative Justice Program. We embarked on several initiatives for public engagement and feedback, and to date there have been no objections. I'm looking forward, Madam Speaker, to tabling the white paper during this financial year with a view to have an updated Restorative Justice Act shortly thereafter.
Mediation continues to be actively used as a dispute resolution option to arrive at mutually acceptable agreements.
Sometime shortly, we hope to bring to Parliament a new mediation act, which we hope, like arbitration, will position Jamaica as a dispute or commercial dispute center that other countries or parties can visit Jamaica to have their matters settled.
And on the matter of expungement?
A number of persons apply for expungement, but we have limited it to a few cases, and also the sentence must not be over 5 years. Madam Speaker, it's an area that we are looking at carefully because there are many persons who have had a sentence over 5 years, sometimes 10, 12 years. They have served their sentence, they're in their communities, they have lived 20 years without any further conviction, and we need to really examine carefully whether those cases an expungement could be provided. It is a matter that I'm taking to Cabinet and have discussions before I take it to Parliament.
The evidence is in. Much has already been achieved, and even more is on the docket for the Ministry of Justice in the 2024-2025 legislative year.
We're in the hurricane season, and whenever the weather experts announce a storm on the horizon, people inevitably, understandably, have questions. The Met Service is answering some of the most frequently asked ones.
Even though a trough is likely for the island next week, tomorrow will be perfect for beachgoers. So expect bright sunshine and clear skies all day.
Yeah, right. Like how yesterday, Una tell me say it's bright and pretty. I wash my clothes and a pure rainfall. I'll know them not dry.
And today, we want to hear from you, our viewers. So call us now to get your weather questions answered.
Yeah, man, me go now call.
And we have a call online now. What is your question?
How comes you tell me that today I got bright and pretty and a pure rainfall in my community?
It's not as simple as you might think to predict weather with full accuracy. To provide a forecast, We measure and assess current atmospheric conditions over various areas and compare that to previous observations. This allows us to have a general idea of what conditions to expect in a particular area. Rainfall, however, can be difficult to forecast, especially for small areas. From our analyses and observations, we can know that conditions will be ideal for rainfall, and we have a good idea of the general region where rain is likely, but it is sometimes difficult to give that precise location.
Oh, so you're saying even though you can't tell me it will rain in my town, you can't necessarily tell me it will rain in my little district?
You've got it.
Oh, wait, I have another question. But you're not talking about one system where affect the island. Where next week? When you think it's so early, we need to know about that?
When it comes to telling the public about severe weather, the nature of the system determines how soon we start to share that information. For systems like tropical wave or a trough that may produce severe weather, advisories are issued 2 to 3 days before a system is forecasted to affect our area. For tropical cyclones such as hurricanes, advisories are issued once a system is expected to be formed within 48 hours, even if it will not affect Jamaica.
You know what else me always want to know? The Met Office and ADPEM, them do the same thing?
No. The Met Service is responsible for monitoring the weather conditions over the island and territorial waters and issuing reliable and timely weather services. ADPEM, which stands for the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, is responsible for maintaining a state of national preparedness for all types of disasters. When the system that could cause a disaster is a weather phenomenon, the Met Service monitors the progress to forecast and to determine the extent of the weather conditions.
You know, I never know there's so much things the Met Service do, and that weather forecasting is so complicated.
Yes, it is. And if you have more questions in the future, please feel free to contact the Met Service.
Here's a question that wasn't asked, but we're answering it anyway. What's an easy way to treat your water for drinking after a hurricane? The answer: boil the water for at least 10 minutes, or add 2 drops of bleach to every liter of water. In every season, mental health is of vast importance to our well-being. We all deal with issues differently, some not at all, which is never healthy. With the recent passing of Hurricane Beryl, some people are still picking up the pieces and are going through a very difficult time. While this may be the case, it is important to manage your stress. Here are some ways you can cope with the stress you might be experiencing.
Hi, I'm Orchid. I know. When you hear my name, you think of luxury, strength, and beauty. But currently, there is nothing beautiful about my situation. I am unemployed, having lost my job to the economic effects of COVID-19, and I don't know how long I can cope. Plus, I've struggled with mental illness in the past. There are so many thoughts flying through my head during the days, and at nights, others keep me up. I understand that being down sometimes is a natural part of life, but it's not that. The stress, the anxiety, the worry, they keep getting worse. Of course, some days are better than others because I have medication to help. But even with that, some days are really bad. Okay, you may feel bad for me, and empathy is fine. But here's a bit of good news. I've been learning some techniques to help me deal with the problem. So if your story sounds similar to mine, then maybe you could apply these techniques as well.
There is a direct correlation between what you eat and how you feel, and some foods have an enduring impact on your mental health. How do you feel after drinking a cup of coffee? Or how do your children react after having sugary drinks? You get my point, right? So if you're struggling with mental illness, now may be the time to start eating a healthy and balanced diet. Here's what we're adding: various fruits and vegetables, and lots of it where possible. Our whole grain bread and cereals are a good addition to the mix. So too are nuts, seeds, dairy products and proteins in the right proportion and lots of water. Never forget that any diet that's good for your physical health is just as good for your mental health.
If alcohol is in your glass too often, then it might be a contributor to your mental illness. The truth is that while many of us drink alcohol to change our mood or to deal with things like worry or abandonment, the effect is quite fleeting. Alcohol withdrawal is real, and there's nothing good about it, because when that drink wears off, you'll only feel worse. And of course, there's the damage too much alcohol does to your body. Occasional light drinking is okay and enjoyable for a lot of people. Just remember, everything in moderation. And just like alcohol, smoking or using drugs provides a short-lived high. And after that, then what? Cigarette and drugs don't solve the problems associated with mental illness. They only mask and eventually worsen them.
Here's another link between body and mind: exercising. When we exercise, the activities release endorphins that improve our mood and provide a relaxed sensation throughout the mind and body. Regular exercise can improve your self-esteem and help you concentrate, all while keeping the brain and other organs healthy. And get this, exercising doesn't have to just be about going to the gym or doing sporting activities. It can be as simple as a walk, anything that keeps your mind active.
Sleep and good mental health are good friends. When you get enough sleep, it is easier to cope with stress, solve some problems, concentrate, and even think positively. While many doctors recommend 8 hours of sleeping, your body will tell you how much you need. You'll know you're getting enough when you do not feel so sleepy or extremely tired during the day. I get that sometimes we have a lot to do, and it is easy to think that we can get more done if we can cut back on our sleep time. But get this, it becomes harder to get things done when we do not get enough sleep.
If things are getting too much for you and it's becoming hard to cope, then ask for help. Your family or friends may be able to offer a listening ear or even practical solutions. You could even consider joining a support group or find a counselor to help you deal with your feelings. It's important to know that there are effective treatments for mental illness, and people who get proper care can recover and learn to cope and experience fulfilling lives.
Did you know that finding out your blood type can reduce your risk of getting the wrong blood type during emergency operations or surgeries? Let you know if you're at a higher risk for certain diseases, like knowing that persons with type AB, A and B blood have higher risks for blood clots. And if you have a rare blood type, you could decide to store your blood for future use so you don't have to wait hours or days to find a match. So what are you waiting for? Find out your blood type today. It can not only help to save your life, but also the lives of others.
This is where we close the chapter on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Be sure to join us tomorrow at the same time on this same station for all you need to know. Until then, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for this and more offerings. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry, imploring you to think on this quote from Mahatma Gandhi. Justice that love gives is a surrender. Justice that law gives is a punishment.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.